what I said, I didn't say it lightly. I'm a person that I didn't get anything from a divorce. Okay, so I know what it's like. I know what it feels like for a man to screw you over. But when you, as a woman, I was like that too. Oh my gosh, I would never, my people would never, I don't know anybody that acted like that. But when you go and you hear from the population how women are talking, how women are thinking, how women are acting, and this is normal that we want to go after a man's money. We want to go after it so bad before, like when on the first date, we're requiring 5-star restaurants. Men are not looking at our money. They're not trying to take our money. If you get it, if a man try to scam you out of money, like that's like lowest 20%. That's on you because you picked some guy that really looking for your money, right? So that's how much men don't care about our money. They're not trying to get us to pay for every single date. So that carries all the way into the marriage. So for me, it's like I don't want to say it, but when we gonna grow up and say, hey, we did something wrong. We're doing something wrong. It's okay to say women do something wrong. Like I'm not 12. You can call me a name. You could say that I'm this or I'm that or I'm a whatever misogynistic point of view, but it's really not. Just because something is true or something is making us look bad, it doesn't mean that we're all bad. It just means that we have a problem and we need to call it out. But I feel like the women are deflecting, saying that, well, it's a human being thing. No, when a man does something to us, we don't say it's a human being thing. So when a woman doing something wrong, let's just call it what it is. You after his money, and I get it. We scrambling. We trying to take care of our kids. We're gonna do what's best for us. We're gonna do what's in our best interests for our children. But in this scenario, when you're divorced, and we take it back to the original topic, these people are divorced. You said you didn't want him. So now you want to go back in his bank account and take money out. That's wrong. Right is right, is wrong is wrong. And then you're taking stuff away from your kids. The reason why I didn't get stuff out of my divorce is because I knew my kids would benefit from the thing I left. So yeah, it burns. And I know what I'm entitled to, but I'm going to let it go because my kids benefit from that.
Brittany Gold, do you hold your position on this?
I do. I still think it is a character issue. I don't think that it's women doing wrong or men doing wrong. It really boils down to the person, the individual, the character. I mean, I can go on and on about men that I know who have literally taken pensions, percentages of pensions and property and all of the other assets that were part of a marriage, but were the ones cheating, but their character is just effed up. And I can think of women that did the same thing. It really boils down to character. And I also think, not to go too far left from what Ruth just mentioned, I don't know if it's like every circumstance matters, right? Because in some circumstances, it's about doing what's best for you and your children. But like with the scenario, it wasn't in the best interest of, the offspring. So that was just a messed up situation. But in general terms, I do think it's circumstantial. But at the end of the day, I think foundationally it's about character, because if you're considering the best interest of whoever is involved, meaning like your children, then if you have, good character, then you're going to do what's right for your child. But if you're just spiteful, if you're selfish, if you're in it for you and you're not thinking about other people, then yeah, it's a character issue. I don't think women are just out there or men are just out there trying to, I don't think it's.
Let me ask you a question, Brittany Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we pulled up some numbers,
Gotcha.
and the numbers show that 95% of the people who do this are women and 5% is men. Wouldn't
is
it
that
still
actual
be
data or is that a hypothetical situation?
I'm just asking a hypothetical question. If let's say the numbers say 95% of the women actually behave this way, and 5% of men do this, or according to the data, wouldn't it still be a character issue?
It depends. I mean, yeah, the statistics show that women are more likely to file for divorce, right? Women are
No,
more
I'm
likely
talking.
because we're the ones
I'm talking about
the
the.
pension and the money and all of that other good stuff. That's a
I'm not talking about the divorce. I'm talking about the actual issue at hand.
Okay.
Of defrauding a man for his inheritance.
I mean, that's different.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it still be a character?
actually,
Wouldn't it still be a character issue regardless of gender?
but that's
I think it's a
completely
character
different
issue.
narrative. That's a completely different narrative, what you just presented. If data showed that 95% or whatever of women were actually getting divorced and taking what belongs to their child, then yeah, that changes the narrative, but that's not
I looked
the
it
case.
up.
No, what
It says, I looked it up. It says there's a good body of research on the subject that shows, and this is coming from the epwealth.com, EP Wealth Advisors. There's a good body of research on the subject that shows that women bear the heaviest financial burden when a couple divorces.
I just
And
looked
let
it
me
up
add
too,
to that.
and it said
Hold
98%
on.
of the amount of people that perceive alimony is women. 98% of the people that receive alimony are women.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, though. The reason, because this was a point that I was going to make to kind of speak to what Clout was saying about statistically women outlive men and that kind of stuff. But on the other flip side, I think what happens is what we look for is different for women versus what we look for with men. Women typically are going to try to get as much as they can, right? Men are typically going to try to withhold as much as they can, because what also happens is divorce is like, if you're talking statistically, a lot of times people, those who are hiding money during a divorce is typically the higher earning spouse, right? So if we look at statistics, typically the higher earner spouse is the husband. Especially if he's making significantly more. A lot of times you would look at the fact that the wife may be an at-home mom, right? So he's typically controlling all of the finances. So typically those who are controlling most of the finances are likely to hide assets as well. Those who own a business, because I had looked this up before, it was saying those who own a business, those who are the higher earning spouse, those who the spouse that has control over finances, if you have any joint investments, all of those things. And a lot of those things are typically ran or managed by the man. So if we want to look at it that way, when we say it's a character thing, it is a character thing, because hiding money is just the opposite of trying to get money. So both are doing the same behavior about trying to maintain as much money as they can from the divorce. So it's the same.
I agree with the ladies on it. I'm just trying to expose that two things can be true at once.
But I
You
agree
can
with
have
you.
bad character and you can be a woman at the same time.
And that goes back to what I said. It's circumstantial, right?
No, it's actually not.
It can be based on
be
your
a woman
character
of
or the
bad character.
circumstances.
You can be a man of bad character.
You can,
When
right?
you,
Exactly.
when you have bad character traits, it doesn't negate your gender. You can still attach the gender to the negative character. Two things can be true at one time.
So
Hold on a
just
second. Coco was trying to say something a little while ago. She got cut, bro. So we'll let her go, and then you can go right after that.
Well, I wanted to say that it definitely I wouldn't say I would say it's a character issue, because I went through I mean, when I told my husband I wanted a divorce, the first thing he did was went and took all the money out of the joint account, logged onto my computer, transferred all my money from my single account into our joint account, took everything. I never saw that coming. He never cared about money. I was making more money than him. You know, his check went to the bank account. I paid all the bills. I could have never paid the bills if I was but I took care of everything. But I would have never thought that he would have went, like, that's the first thing went to his head. Like, when he got angry and he realized that I was leaving him, the first thing he did was took all the money. Like he was trying to disable me, and then he tried to get alimony. Like he was just trying to like, he was angry, and it was just like, damn, I ain't do nothing but support that man. So I think his character, because I would have never saw that coming. He's never asked me for $1 the whole time I was with him, but he deliberately did that. And it
So
was
Coco,
because he knew I was going to be okay without him. And that's what he figured. I'm going to take the money.
Coco, in this scenario, would you say the majority of this would be the man or the woman? You would be the man or the woman in this scenario?
Majority of them are the women in the scenario. That you
When
mean
you
as far
call
as
it
what my
that,
husband did?
Like you having the money, right? One spouse has the money. It's usually the man, and then the woman goes and scrambles and try to, you know, finesse and get things. Usually that's how the story goes. Is that not true? It's just
Yeah.
that you have more money. So that's my point. It's like,
Yeah.
I know we have bad scenarios that happen to us, so we get it. But when you become a high earning spouse, you know, that's what kind of happened. The other person's scrambling, trying to get the money. And that's probably what's happening here. So I'm not saying that women are inherently bad. I'm saying that they're in that position and they're going to do the same thing that they see your ex-husband did. That's what they're going to do. It's just that in mass, that's what they're doing.